Hello, dear viewers. We are doing a Dungeon Crawl Stone Soup recording today for your delight. If you have not heard of Dungeon Crawl Stone Soup before, it is one of my favorite games of all time. It is a roguelike. That is a game in the style of Rogue. It is randomly generated each time you play, procedurally generated. I know those aren't the same thing, but you start over each time. You have to identify all your items. It's gotten a lot easier over the years, a lot more user-friendly, rather. Some people will say it's always been easy, other people will say it's always been impossible, but we're going to go on a run, and to start off the series, I think I am just going to play one of my favorites, which is the Demonspawn. Demonspawn is a very versatile, but kind of unpredictable species to play as. And I think I want to be a Fire Elementalist. No particular reason. We're going to start by setting our skills to focus on just our offensive stuff here. Fire Elementalists have a little bit of an awkward skilling issue in that it's kind of hard to figure out exactly where your damage is coming from, like which skill it's coming from, if it's going to be conjurations or fire magic, but we'll get some wispies going here. Alright. Foxfire is a pretty powerful starting spell. It's a little difficult to use sometimes. Your positioning is a little more important than some of the other early options. Let's do it here. You want both of your little doodlies to be able to hit the enemy. Let's just punch for a second. There we go. Punch, 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 punch. Goodness, I haven't played Crawl on this keyboard in a while. Okay, a glaive. That's interesting. We'll go ahead and use it as a sort of backup weapon. It's very slow, very, very slow for us, because it is well, glaives are pretty big chunky boys. Base damage of 15 is quite strong, but of course a base attack delay of 1.7 means that there's a pretty good chance that the enemy will get to take 2 actions in the time it takes for us to swing. So it's pretty risky to use it, but when we're just sort of standing there waiting to regain our magic points, slimy green scales. So this is why you play a Demonspawn, aside from the aptitudes, which are pretty average across the board. You know, a little slower in most things than a human, and certainly slower in gaining levels than a human, but they have a few strengths. Mostly it's for the mutations. You get permanent, powerful, beneficial mutations that follow a certain schema. One of the mutations will always be a scales mutation, and slimy green scales is a pretty okay one. It gives you poison resistance at the maximum level, but since that requires 3 mutations, and you're not guaranteed a mutation every level, and it's not guaranteed that your scales will reach the 3rd level anytime before level 27, poison resistance isn't the best. It's something you want early on, especially when you're approaching Lair and the S branches. However, by the end game, poison doesn't have as much impact, generally speaking. there are some notable exceptions. But it generally doesn't have as much as an impact. You have more health, so even when you are poisoned, you have more time to find options. You've had more time to access potions of curing, etc. And so you need it less. Also, you're more likely to have found an artifact that has it on there somewhere. See, we can swing our glaive. It does stuff. Goblin looks very terrifying, but it's actually just sitting on a little chaos trap there, which is fine. I'm going to go ahead and pick up this dagger and actually wield it. I think it's a little better for our completely unskilled character here to have something that doesn't take a full 1.7 aught, 17 aughts, whatever. An aught is an arbitrary unit of time. It is how this game measures its increments. Alright. We're on to dungeon floor 2. This is where unique enemies can start showing up. We'll be putting our points into intelligence. We'll see here, I talk about not being very good. If we manage to get level 3 scales by the time we reach layer, it will be very good. Otherwise, plus 3 armor class is just fine. It's fine. It's like about what we'd be getting as some other species at this point. About the same as like Draconian, maybe. Maybe not quite as much. I like Draconians, but I always get impatient with them. Fated Altar of an Unknown God is interesting. I think we get a choice of 3. Or it's not a choice of 3. We have one of 3 things it could be. So we've got Ignis, Uskaya, or Heb. 2 of those 3 would be pretty decent for us. I don't think Uskaya would be all that amazing here. Ignis is just fine. It's sort of an early game power boost, and then you abandon it later on to worship a different deity. I don't think we take this altar. Hep isn't, like, so strong that I feel pulled toward it. Let's just head back upstairs here. Maybe throw out another couple of these. Drag this goblin with us, and we can rest up and, try a different staircase here. I say try as though we haven't already seen where it ends up, but we could do a little, just a little bit of stair dancing. I don't think we were in any danger there. Single orc is not likely to tax us, but, no need to take unnecessary risks. Okay, this is an interesting puzzle. We have Terrence. Anytime I encounter a unique, I generally want to take a look, unless I know that I'm, like, way over-leveled, but that's not the case here. I'm not sure. He just hits up to 10 damage. Okay. Normally about 2% to evade. Oh, no. It's 2% to evade right now, because he's asleep. Normally he's got decent evasion. I think we can pretty easily kill Terrence. The reason why I'm pausing for so long is I'm trying to decide if we take a step forward to stab, and I think we do. I think it positions us better for Foxfire if we step here. Anyway, because if we fire it off now, probably, I mean, there's a good chance that one of the things shows up here instead of them both showing up here. So I think if we step here, then they show up in some combination of these 3 tiles, and we just step back into the one that they're not in, and they both get him. Also, if we manage to complete this step with our stealth, we get a free stab. Yeah, boom. And we don't actually do any damage. Okay, daggers. So strong. Yeah, here we actually, I didn't even realize we have a 4th tile where it can appear up there, so this is even better than we had hoped. Here, I think we just back up to about here. We want to try and dodge that jackal from... we want to keep the jackal from joining the party. I also have been too busy talking, and I haven't actually memorized our level 2 spells, so that's part of why this isn't going as well as it might otherwise. Opportunity attacks make this not great, but you know, gosh, miscasting Foxfire is some sad times here. Darren says your history, eh? Not if this Foxfire has anything to say about it. That was needlessly risky. We're gonna pop upstairs and rest here, and we're actually gonna do the thing that I talked about and memorize some more magic here. Definitely memorizing Scorch. I think it's pretty mid overall. It's actually, I don't know, it's not great, but it's good early on to deal with some of the nasties that you come across. I think we go ahead and memorize Volatile Blast Motes. I haven't spent a ton of time with this spell, so Volatile Blast Motes, we won't mess around with it just quite yet, but it creates a little bomb. Brings forth a cloud of volatile blast motes around the caster, which explode when something moves into them or when they're exposed to open flames. The explosion is concussive, knocking adjacent creatures away. Damage done rises with the spell's power. Yeah, so, like, if something's chasing you, you can drop it and take a step, and it'll blow up, and it'll knock you back. And that's, like, fine, I guess. You can probably do better things with it. We'll find out. For now, we'll just cast a couple Scorches and kill most things that way. Oh yeah, and there's our orc friend from before. Oh goodness, we've got a whole bunch of jackals. Okay, so let's just pull everything back here. You just want more than 2 open tiles normally. Alright, we've got the iguana. This iguana is, chunky. Strictly harder than Terrence. Ugh. Tax of opportunity. What options do we have here? I think here we just actually have to quaff our potion of magic. It feels pretty bad to use it there, but you know, early iguana can end a run, and we're trying to play tight. We're trying to keep this keep ourselves honest here. Null pack. You never see just one null. I know you don't believe me. No? Not a good joke. I know, I'm sorry. Alright. A lot of my play will be suboptimal because I just still not the best at dealing with attacks of opportunity. Oh, that's interesting. An arbalest. And a throwing net. Alright. Let's see. translocation. Do we want to turn on translocations? We turn off conjurations for a while. Throw these on. Just make those blast modes castable. Ever. Maybe we take this Arbalest. Just hang on to it. We probably won't use it for much, but, you know, sometimes there are circumstances where having a mana-free ranged source of damage can be nice. Ooh, Buckler, that's really great. We'll have to fight Jessica for it, though. Can we beat Jessica? I'm not entirely sure we beat Jessica. Let's put an exclusion around her and come back later. I think that we're far enough progressed through this level that we can just kind of explore the rest of it. And yeah, like, fighting Jessica and bumping into that adder would have been definitely a splat. It's, not like hard exclude, but just sort of semi-exclude that adder. Just Scorch away a couple of goblins. Scorch is pretty strong early. It's just the random targeting that makes it kind of way worse than you want it to be. You have to, it takes a lot of positioning. A lot more than you would expect from a sort of smite targeted spell. Alright. Take out these snakes one at a time. The casting a Foxfire and then scorching and then letting your Foxfire hit the target is pretty strong. It's one thing that you want to try and do with this background. Scorch always has a shorter range than I think it does, though, which is part of the reason why Vehement, I think, is a great choice, as they often are on... Alright, let's just back off from this. I don't love the setup that we've got here. Yeah, +2 spear? How does that have a +2 spear? Weird. Is that one just has a +0 spear. Alright. I think that the summon rules are new. That's very interesting to me. I'm also unfamiliar with cerulean imps, so we're just going to back off and go back down at a different spot and kind of just reset the fight. See, now we're slow, and I don't love that, but she did that instead of summoning, which is kind of great. There we go. Alright, so that's one life down, and there she is again. Didn't give us much chance to recover, did she? And she's mited. My goodness. I'm gonna go ahead and cast some blast modes. That didn't really work all that well. We're just gonna drag her upstairs. And... what do we do here? I don't know that it's time to start quaffing potions yet. Let's throw a throwing net at her. We miss? Okay, well, fine. Let's take a couple of steps back. One more. Ugh. This is okay. This is okay. We just leave her up here. Bye. See ya. Leave her up here, finish exploring the level. Sublimation of blood, petrify, and irradiate. Well, irradiate's really, really strong. And makes me want to start training Conjuration and Transmutation. Memorize it as soon as we can. Well, these are some interesting choices. So, I think one thing we can do is switch to training Conjurations as a focus. And do something like this. Kind of like that. I think that enables us getting Irradiate on time online sometime around the layer, maybe. Conceivably sooner, but Demonspawn are always a little slower to get there than I expect them to be. Okay, so now I think we get to take on Jessica. I think we do... Let's go here. I think this gets us closest to her. Yeah. I think being closer to Jessica than further is better. The question is, I don't think we take another step for the stab. I mean, I just don't think we do enough damage with our dagger to make it worth it. I think we just go for the Scorch while we get the free turn. Well, that did it then. Goodness. Sometimes you feel like you over-prepare for these things, but I maintain that Jessica was worth being cautious about. Okay, Buckler's great. I don't know that we need to do anything with it yet. We've got our slimy green scales, so we have a little bit of... Alright, I think we can go back up and... Oh, we've got another adder. Alright, I think we can go back up and do something about Natasha. There we go. Kind of just brute forced it. Demonic Guardian. I think Demonic Guardian is fine. It's not the most predictable of mutations, but it can be strong. Can help you out. Rapier? We'll take it just in case we end up training short blades. We can always drop these uninspiring, unenchanted objects later when we need inventory space. Nemelex, I don't know that I'd love Nemelex on a fire mage. Let's quiver again. I just think having to train invocations is not the way we end up winning. I think that means we just kind of die in the lair. Ooh, hey! Free resist poison. That's a stat stick if I've ever seen one. Maces have a slightly higher base attack delay, so we don't want to go swinging around too much, but we've got our resist poison cover and some gloves. Ooh, free armor class. I'll take it. Okay. Let's put on this Ring of See Invisible that for some reason we haven't put on already. Just doing kind of an inventory check here. I don't really have enough scrolls yet to start read IDing. I'll wait until I'm a little more sure of which one is identify before. I just don't think that I think we're past our little danger point there where we had to drink a potion. It's okay. I fully believe that the hoarding of potions in this game causes more stupid splats, yet another stupid death, than anything else. Consumables are strong, and having them for the more difficult late game fights is great, but This game is all about snowballing, if you can. And it's really hard to get a snowball going if you are dead. Can't do much if you're dead. Also, this does sort of vary by race, or by species, rather. Because if you're playing something that's got a little bit swifter of a curve, like a Minotaur, well, you can probably just, probably won't need to do too much before you reach Zot anyway. You probably won't need consumables, so you can save them. You might as well save them for Zot. But honestly, like, that kind of thing is, like, if you're playing a melee character that's not super extended endgame viable, Fedos Madash, not sure that they are our answer either. Fedos is another invocations heavy deity. I think there's sometimes an argument for throwing on an early leather armor on a caster, especially like a demigod where you just have a ton of intelligence and so the casting penalty doesn't matter all that much. I think we don't need it that much because we've already got level 2 scales. And that's about... Ooh, jeez. Louise. Foxfire, as you can see, is just really strong against this sort of semi-threatening popcorn. Wizard is actually threatening. Depending on their spellbook, they can really mess you up early. We've got a Ring of Sea Invisible though, so it's not too bad. Confusion would be the worst thing that they could do. Double Scorch here. Yikes, miscast is not great. Where's our staircase? Over there? Okay. We're just gonna, like, eat a million attacks of opportunity from this gnoll so that we don't have to take any hits from the gnoll with the halberd. Because that could just, like, one-shot us kind of unceremoniously. Let's see what's down this staircase. Oh, let's head back up the staircase. Goodness. Orc priest, scary. Well, alright. A little bit better. Alright, I think this is enough scrolls that we can assume it's identify, and it is. Curing, great. Attraction, you know, at least we didn't quaff ID it. Haste is great. And mutation, okay. Another good one to not have to quaff ID to discover what it is by drinking it. Mace of Protection, I was kind of hoping it was a Mace of Protection, honestly. I think we actually throw that on for now. And let's identify one of these stacks of scrolls. Yeah, teleportation, good. And we've kind of made enough noise to want to get out of here. Yeah, see? Big chonky hits with that halberd. Alright. That's how you use blast motes. you can also do that. You can also get hit by them. Scorch? Miscast? Okay. Alright. That was closer than I wanted it to be, but that's how it goes with Orc Priests. And we also still have, like, kind of a reasonable, like, 2% failure on those spells is... it's not nothing. Let's see... Radiate... 86%, huh? We could take Flame Wave. I don't love Flame Wave, I just think it's slow and expensive. You have to stand in one place while you do it, which also doesn't play well with Blast Motes. Inner Flame is not something we want to be messing with at this point, I don't think. We don't have any, like, supporting spells to get us out of trouble if something just walks up to us, and that's not the best place to be. So... yeah, we're still not going to memorize Irradiate just yet. We'll get Conjurations up a fair amount. You know, we can even do that and just turn on Transmutations as a no-use training skill. It's usually not the best idea, but I think that Kiss of Death. Not super familiar with this one. Oh, it drains you. Okay. I mean, I don't love that. I don't think we need it. Dispel Undead is very strong. It's very strong. Well, all things to think about. Another Scroll of Identify is great. Get some more of these other scrolls. Amnesia! Oh, it's good that we've got that. Quarterstaff. I think the Quarterstaff ship has sailed. We've got a shield that we're going to be throwing on here before too terribly long. Helmet. Rue, you say? Rue is good. I don't know about Rue on a caster. I usually play Rue with my melee goobers. Exude an aura of power that intimidates your foes. I mean, that's pretty good. Heal your body and restore your magic is pretty good. Mighty Leap is pretty good. Wreak Terrible Wrath upon all your foes is extremely good. It kind of just wrecks things. Rue is strong. Rue is strong. But I don't love Rue on casters because I feel like the flexibility that is granted by spellcasting is hindered a little too much by the choices that Rue forces you into. Pykel. Pykel is nearby. This poor Lemure, this poor enthralled spirit. Let's kind of throw up an exclusion over here. Dungeon 5, why? Alright, we're actually gonna pause this video briefly. I think this is gonna be one segment of recording. I'm gonna try and do these in 30-minute segments, and I went a little bit over. So, as you can see on this level, we've got a few puzzles already. We've got this priest-wizard combo here that's pretty scary. Pykel, who has 4 of these little duders, and then an enchanted whip of some sort is going to be a challenge as well. We're not very good at crowd pleasing yet. We might be forced to memorize Flame Wave for that. And then we've got another orc pack up here that's got at least 1 wizard, although this orc is not as threatening as the priest down there, so this might be the direction we explore in first. I don't know. We'll see when we come back. I'm going to take a quick break, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.